Welcome back, everyone, and welcome back to the Coach Approach. It's your coach, Bucket the Black Bacon, and today, we're going to be looking at 50 things only smart people know in League of Legends. Why is the title that? I honestly don't know. 50 things only smart people know? So I'm stupid if I don't know them, and y'all stupid if y'all don't know. Is that what he's trying to say? I don't know if this is a troll video, and it's just kind of like to help inform, or if it's something to make you feel like I have to click it because I know I'm smart, and you know, that type of clickbait. But, there might be some useful tips in here. So I'm going to go through and watch them. And we're going to watch them together. And we're going to see what's factual, what's not factual. My main goal isn't to BM these guys. It isn't to criticize how they work or anything like that. It's just when a lot of these videos come out and on some of these channels where it's like, okay, we put a video out damn near every single day about different things. Like, it's more about the quantity than quality. And I want to make sure that you guys are getting the quality that you guys deserve. I've been coaching for 8 years, so what I say is from just coaching experience alone and just me studying the game and things like that. So let's see if there's anything in here that's like, oh, that's actually interesting, or it's like you're probably never going to use that type of thing. All right. So if you guys have any other videos where you guys think that, well, I got this video, but I'm not really learning anything from it. It doesn't really seem to be clicking. It doesn't work at all. Like, send it to me. Give me the link. And I will add it into the Is It Clickbait episodes, and we'll see if it's just you, or maybe the video is just clickbait.
So Biggie, let's get straight into it with the 50 things only smart people know in League of Legends. Starting with a bot lane ward that is insanely easy. Put your mouse on the left side of the waterfall and click. It doesn't matter where you are, your character will walk over and ward appropriately. On the Blanc.
Okay, that goes for every single wall. Even it's basically like your flash, right? So if you picture the ward as your flash, or as you pretty much, if you're on the left or right side of the wall, your character or ward is going to slide to the other side. So the more you are on that wall, the more it will slide to the side. So it's not really something that smart people would know. That's just how the game works, and you should kind of know that already. If you've been flashing over walls, you already know that you could put wards down like that. Maybe some of you guys don't know that, but I'm pretty sure that's fairly common. That's kind of a odd tip. And as I said, it's for everywhere, not just there. So I don't know why he just didn't say over the wall in general.
Don't sit on the fountain waiting on gold for an item. Walk out to around here and wait until you need 8 more gold. Distortion to the fountain, buy, and port back. This tip is also excellent for champs like Akali, Katarina, and Zed. Blue side top laners will love...
Okay, that's pretty cool. Good tip.
Of this ward, first you want to lock your camera. Then walk to the plant above these 2 yellow dots. See the crack? Place your ward right at the bottom of it. Avoiding ganks has never been easier. How did Darius know how to turn around here? He placed the dummies, duh. But if we're being serious...
Like I said, it's the same thing over the wall as long as it's on the right side of that wall. It'll slide down to the other side. Now you could just also wrap behind the wall and just put it over the wall. I mean, either or works. That one would probably take a lot more practice and trial and error, so I probably wouldn't do it in ranked. I'd probably just walk around and pop it. But
notice how his pathing was avoiding the dummies at the start. Even if you don't have vision of your opponents, you will still path around them. If there was no one here, he would have walked along the wall like this. This works for all bushes, and if you manage to evade a death this way, then you'll want to put it on your montage for sure.
What did he say? I just missed the whole thing. Obstacles and fog.
Turn around here. He placed the dummies, duh. But if we're being serious, notice how his pathing was avoiding the dummies at the start.
Okay, that's interesting. You probably would still get blown up. There's no way you would avoid it. You would still die. He's super close. But that is interesting. I don't know if that actually works in real play. Obviously, the odds which is why they didn't even have a clip of it them damn selves, because the odds of that even happening is very, very slim, to the point where it probably won't happen at all. But if that is a thing, that's awkward. I don't think that should be. I don't think the characters should react to things like that. That's weird. I don't know. I think that, I don't know.
Even if you don't have vision of your opponents, you will still path around them. If there was no one here, he would have walked along the wall like this. This works for all bush.
Yeah, so he's basically saying that if the character models are blocking the actual character's model, so that means all champs have to be stacked in a bush. or some crazy stuff like that probably wouldn't happen.
And if you manage to evade a death this way, then you'll want to put it on your montage for sure. If you're running the Time Warp Tonic rune, you can heal much faster in base. You can't use potions on the center of the fountain, but if you can walk off a bit, you can. Use one for a burst heal, then walk back to the center to have the heal fall off. Then walk back off to burst heal again, back to center, etc.
That's true, but it's not that serious.
You can easily plan out how to CS under tower. It will always hit the minion closest to it, but did you know that it uses this as its center point? When you know that, last hitting under tower becomes a breeze, since you can easily plan ahead to get every minion.
What? That isn't... Obviously. Dude, what? Okay, I'm sorry.
Sona may be simple, but she has a neat trick for extra burst. Your passive is an auto reset, so when you have 2 stacks of it, make sure to auto Q auto for free damage.
That goes for every single champion that has an auto attack cancel. You auto, skill auto. Even if you're not an animation cancel auto champion, you can still kind of do it with anybody, actually. I think it's every single champ can pull that off. You would auto, and then skill right after, and then auto again. That's just how you people usually do damage.
Do you hate that your RE combo never looks as clean as when pros do it? Well, that's because you need to cast your R at max range and spam E as you fly. Otherwise, it won't be this smooth. This is the hardest ward to place in the game, but all you have to do is walk between these 2 trees and make sure you're hugging the wall as tightly as possible. Then drag your mouse slowly towards the edge of the brush. Once the indicator shows that it'll go in, place it.
I mean, I wouldn't really do that ward because the lack of vision you get is ridiculous.
Slowly towards the edge of the brush.
Right.
Once the indicator shows that...
There, look at that. So you could A, put a ward right here and not see anything, and the dude could just blast clone right over, and it's a waste. Or you can B, wait till you have a vision of their jungler, or just go in, especially if your champion is like Bard or something that can just kind of get away, it doesn't matter, and put the ward right here on this edge. Right there. Because what this does is give you vision upwards, but it also gives you vision this way. Okay, so I would just walk around and pop it right there, right at the edge, right there. And so my vision will show this way and that way. I would never do that.
That it'll go in, place it. Whenever the
That's just a lazy ward, really.
waves are neutral, like the start of the game, for example, you can drag the wave to stall it. This will guarantee that it pushes towards you. Whew, might need a break. All this IQ I'm getting is giving me a massive headache.
Doesn't guarantee anything because there's 4 players in bot, there's 2 players in mid, there's 2 players in top.
Let's see how long I can hold out. Along the same note, if you're running teleport, you can TP to cannon minion waves throughout the game. This will cause a momentary minion disadvantage, which will get the wave pushing to your side.
That is true. Once again, the odds of you doing that very slim. You'd rather just use your teleport to actually affect the game rather than just teleport back to lane like that, unless you have a specific reason.
As a jungler, use AoE abilities on the raptors as you do the red buff. The burn from your jungle item will heal quite a bit as you tank the buff. Not only that, but if you're going to skip them on your route, throw an ability their way. As you walk away, you'll heal a substantial amount as well.
Substantial. That was like 20 HP, but yeah, he's right. That works for all camps.
Rift Herald keeps spawning its vulnerable eye until it has 2,000 health or less. As you're doing it,
Not 2,000 health. It's about 1,500. 15 to 1,300.
make sure to keep it at 2,100 health or so until it spawns, and then burst it. When clearing wards as graves, try and position so that you can hit the ward with the jungle camps behind it. One of the pellets will hit the ward, and the remaining ones will hit the jungle camp, so you can be as efficient as possible.
Once again, odds of that happening, I don't really know.
This next tip is only for the truly ambitious. If you see that the wave is going to crash just outside the enemy's tower, then you should walk past the tower, tanking it and the minions to ensure that your own wave crashes. Obviously, you should only be doing this if you know exactly where everyone on the map is.
That's true. That's true. Nothing to say. That's...
You can get gold from turret plates while basing by letting your minion...
Wait a second. You notice this is the only like real clip, maybe I missed one, but this is the only real clip of something that's happening. So even he knows the shit that he is saying is not, I mean, it's all hypothetical. Like, you're not really going to be put in that situation often. Let me see that Graves clear one more time. Look, that's in a practice tool too. Right? Yeah. The only clip that actually shows him doing anything is that one. So that's how you know none of these tips are realistic other than this one. That's sad, man.
Exactly where everyone on the map is. You can get gold from turret plates while basing by letting your minions finish it off. Just make sure you auto-attack before walking away. On Shogat that levels 11 and 16, don't level your ultimate immediately. You can catch your opponents off guard with a burst heal by simply skilling it up when you need the health. Find yourself dreading playing against Shaco?
I wouldn't really do that.
Or LeBlanc? Tired of being on the bad end of a montage clip? Then consider a press the attack champion during draft phase. If you hit them before they use their clone, the PTA will remain only on the real one, so you never get tricked again.
That works for any abilities that has a recast timer on Holt. So for instance, Udyr, like if you stun, it's going to have a ring around them. Yasuo. Lucian actually has his, if he uses W, his light purifier will only be on the real one. His W like passive when you hit him. I don't really know what it's called, but you know what it's about. There's a lot of champions. Even when they're slowed, you'll see the slow, I don't know if they have it anymore, but you would see like the slow on their feet. You would see the trail leading to the champ. There's a lot of ways to tell. Don't be the person that freaking picks Lucian because, or a press attack champion in mid lane because you see a LeBlanc or a clone. Please don't. A lot of champions can tell you which one's real.
The center of almost every champion's hitbox is near the knees or feet of the model visually, due to the isometric view League has. So try and aim skill shots at the enemy's feet. You can also
That's true.
use minion aggro to scout gank wards from your opponent. Draw the minions towards the river. If they don't follow you into the bush, it means it's not warded and you can use your vision denial in another bush instead.
Not all the times. Sometimes they'll just break leash. So you have to be really careful about how you do that, but it also will work for any bush in general. I'll usually use that trick as like or for a gank. I will sit in a bush really, really close to the minion wave when it comes walking up. And if they don't see me, then I know that bush is not warded. As I said, though, minions just aren't static. They behave weirdly sometimes. And you guys have probably seen that they do some crazy stuff sometimes. So very, very sketch sometimes. But it does work like that. Just make sure that they're not just breaking leash with you, because that could happen.
We're 20 tips in, and we do apologize in advance for all the relationships we probably ruined. Even with just 40% of the knowledge we've dropped, there probably isn't a normal Homo sapien.
Okay, let's continue.
What you'll learn from Double Lift is what it takes to be an amazing AD carry.
For lane wards with minions. If they walk by you without aggroing, it means there's no ward here, and you can catch your opponent off guard.
Wait.
If they walk by you without
that's what I was saying.
It means there's no ward here, and you can catch your opponent off guard. On Nami, after you have 200 AP, your W...
First of all, what support is going to really walk up like that? Should I do it? Should I op.gg this? I'm not... Dang it, why? You know, why would I op.gg? Okay, the only reason why I'll probably do this is because I specifically said, watch out for videos that don't have names, right? I'm curious what rank this is because...
with minions.
What support does this? Every support I know is checking bushes. So I'm just curious about the rank. Let me see. Okay, I'll do it. I'm only in incognito because I don't want his feed on my channel. It's not even dude, he's playing normals. What in the world? Actually, this can't be it because unless this is a really old clip from a long time ago. I mean, I don't think skill capped is an EU thing, right? I think it's a no, I guess it is an NA thing. Maybe I just spelled it wrong. Let me try one more time. Nope, I used the I instead. So yeah, it's not even like a ranked account or anything. As I said, this doesn't really work that much. And like I said, unless you're a jungler, because they'll just put a ward there and they'll spot you. Even a lot of times in higher elo, they'll put a ward anyway, even if the support is there in lane. Only reason I searched that up is because I told you guys beware of people with no names, right? Because that is really what's going to happen. Is there going to be like a clip or something, and it's not even a ranked, it's just normals, and yeah. Which is why I said, have you noticed the ribbon outplay or the ribbon pull thing was a replay, not an actual play of the person, and then the other ones are just kind of like practice, and then this one is just
by you without aggroing. It means
random
there's
stuff.
no ward here, and you can catch your opponent off guard. On Nami, after you have 200 AP, your W begins to deal more damage or heal more per bounce. It's counterintuitive, but to deal the most damage to your main target, you'd want to W someone else first. If you're doing the Krug camp, you can kite the little
I hope y'all Nami mains know that.
golem around the big one. Just move back and forth to keep it from doing damage.
You can do that, but it's just better for you to kill the little one and then aim the big one, smite it, and then kill them all three at the same time. So I don't really recommend that anymore. That's definitely like a season 10 or 11, or season 10 or 9 type of deal.
As Aurelia, if there's no enemy minions nearby, you should try and use enemy jungle camps to unkeep your passive while taking towers. This ward is going to keep you safe from river ganks, right? Wrong. You need to use a normal cast keybind to get wards right at the edge of bushes. Otherwise, you may miss vital information that you would have otherwise gotten. As Orianna, you can hide your ball in terrain to catch your opponents off guard in a team fight. You should abuse minion aggro to get the push lead in some matchups. Auto your opponent once and all their minions will latch onto you. This gives your wave a momentary advantage, which should help you get the lane pushing.
Okay, kill into Aurelia. If he pushes that wave, I guarantee you he's going to lose the lane because she's just going to all in at 2. So, okay, let's look at it again. Let's see. 4 tree. Maybe it's a challenger game. Okay, maybe it's not. Okay, maybe it's EU. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, I was gonna say like any logical person wouldn't fucking do that, but okay.
Queen can cancel or ease long and clunky animation with Prowler's Claw for massive instantaneous burst. Want to spam track summoner spells like pros do? It's easy. Type out what you want to time, then press Ctrl A to select it all, Ctrl C to copy, and then Ctrl V whenever you want to paste it in chat.
Or just ping it. People have their chat muted, so. What?
Stop messing up tower dives. Go into game settings and turn on Enable Attack Champions Only as a toggle. That way you can just press your keybind once and not have to worry about it anymore as you dive your opponent. 30 tips so far, and I feel as if I have the proper IQ to finally watch the grandiose exploits of her. Jace, if you press E before someone flashes, it will knock them back based on where you initially press the spell. Try and predict your opponents this way to secure kills and blow their summoner spells.
What?
Spell. You press E before almost it will. On to tip 31. When playing Jace, if you press E before someone flashes, it will knock them back.
Before someone flashes.
Based on where you initially press the spell.
No? What? It'll knock them in the direction you fucking pressed E in. That makes no sense at all.
Try and predict your opponents this way to secure kills and blow their.
First of all, why would they flash over you? And second of all, if they do, you're knocking them forward. We won't. Maybe you will. It is a little clunky, but I don't think it works like that. Because I played a fuck ton of Jace. There is something strange that will happen with his E, but it wouldn't just... Yeah, no. He'll just knock you a fixed distance regardless. That's weird.
Summoner spell.
What?
Thresh Lantern works as a ward wood for champions like Jack.
But yeah, why would they flash over you anyway? It's dumb.
Katarina or Lee Sin. You don't have to throw it directly on top of them to hitch a ride.
Any structure that is champion made, you can teleport to. You could or even minion, like champion structure or minion that a champion makes. You can teleport to. You can ward hop to. Stuff like that. Obviously, walls are not part of that structure, but things like he just said, Lantern, Jarvan's E, Rek'Sai's Tunnel, like just stuff champ made will do it. So there you go.
When you're free to do so, get closer to enemy minions to make it easier to last hit. This lowers the projectile distance your auto has to travel to hit them, making it easier to.
It also makes sure that you're overextended as hell, so don't do that.
Secure them all. Ezreal's E will prioritize the closest target if he hasn't landed a W on anyone. To circumvent that, use E Flash to instantly maneuver close to your target so your E damage is guaranteed to go on them.
I wouldn't waste my flash to do that. Let's just get very situational. This is why there's no clips of it. People don't do this stuff.
The honey fruit plant in the river spawns randomly between 6 minutes and 6.5 minutes. Plan appropriately and maybe get a little lucky to get the regen before your opponents.
That's true.
To be as smooth as possible, don't just cast Victor's Q then auto. Instead, cast Q, click on the ground with a movement command, and then auto. It'll shoot out much faster. When taking on the ground with a movement command, and then cast Victor's Q then auto. Instead, cast Q, click on the ground smooth as possible. Don't just cast Victor's Q then auto. Instead, cast Q, click on the ground with a movement command. Don't just cast Victor's Q then regen.
What?
To be as smooth as possible, don't just cast Victor's Q then auto. Instead, cast Q, click on the ground with a movement command, and
it's like not worth doing that. Just do that if you're running away or being chased. Who the what? And on top of that, why would he slow this to show you how much faster it is? What?
Then auto. It'll shoot out much faster.
This video is
taking Baron, either with your team or by yourself, try to never stand in the back. Baron throws out spikes that deal extra damage and will occasionally stun you back there. Unless you're zoning someone from a steal, always stand in the front side of Baron. Before flashing on someone, press the ability you want to use on them and then flash towards them. Your ability will fly out instantly, giving them no way to react to your flash.
It's fucking Twisted Fate. Of course you can't react to a point and click CC. But aside from the no way to react, there's definitely a way to react. That's false. But yeah, you do want to kind of pre-render it. You don't have to. It doesn't really do much other than making you have to work less, right? So if we do walk up with, let's say, just an anti-Q. Everybody knows what anti-Qs does to land her stun. If you just kind of flash and then try to hit Q, and it's just a lot of stuff to do. So what you can do is be chasing them, and you can flash and it'll automatically come out. Now, the downside of that is because you're playing it like that, you might not be able to adjust on the fly as you would be if you're already like controlling it between micro steps, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a I'm controlling. Oh, I gotta move. Okay. Whereas if you do the thing where it input buffers, you're basically like, I'm gonna let the champ work. And if I have to pivot, it's very hard for me because the champion was already kind of doing its own thing. So I wouldn't really recommend this in like team fights or anything like that. But if you are trying to like catch somebody and you really just are trying to, and you know you'll get it off, then go ahead and do it. But they definitely can react to you. I don't think that they can't. They'll just flash when you flash.
This is known as input buffering. When laning, time your skill shots while your opponent is stuck in their auto attack animation to last hit. You'll become much more consistent at landing harass this way. Brand's Q stun is a projectile, so don't be afraid to throw
what?
Consistent at landing opponent is stuck in. This is known as input buffering. When laning, time your skill shots while your opponent is stuck in their auto attack animation to last hit.
Just use your skill shots to hit the minions as well as the champion. You can wait for them to start hitting. That is the census, but you don't really want to use the ball or just use any ability and not hit the minions, right? Because you don't want to waste mana. You want to make sure that you are getting as much gold as possible, but also using your abilities to CS at the same time as harass. It's not worth harassing the champion and missing CS. So I disagree with this one tenfold. Like I said, unless you're really trying to like get a kill or hit something very, very important, you just wait till they walk in, and then you can hit the minions.
Become much more consistent at.
You see, like that, and then you would hit the minion, right? Rather than waiting for her to do it, we should already be ready to get the minion. So we would make this low, get it low, and then get ready to Q like that.
Harass this way.
So
Brand's Q stun is a projectile, so don't be afraid to throw it out as the first spell in your rotation. Q then E works just as well to get a stun and catch people off guard. Needless to say, this works with Flash as well for some quick and nasty combos. 40 tips in, and with my way to see that life is just a thing, I'll dearly abilities. If you cast an ability that has a projectile, if you level it up as it's traveling towards the target, it will deal damage as if it was casted at max rank. The idea is that you only use the original mana cost, which is cheaper, but still get the full damage of the later rank. You should almost never take.
I don't know if that. I mean, that's pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's true. I already knew that like you could level it up mid travel like that. Like, it is a cool thing to learn, but it's not really that it's whatever. It's like okay. Like, I guess on some champions it matters, but not really.
Enemy inhibitors.
But I guess if you're like in a challenger scene, these little things all can add up. They're all not really useful. I'm not going to say they are, but there are a few ones here or there that is like, okay, if you really need that push over the edge and you already know everything you need to know and you're just trying to get that extra edge over your opponent, you know, a handful of these might work to get that edge, but most of them just don't really do much, even if you were in the challenger scene. I think the leveling up the ability does work, though. That one I would probably see in like a challenger game, but like I said, it's not really much to. There's other things for you to focus on other than that. You know what I mean?
Before 20 minutes. The main purpose of an inhibitor is to draw people away while your team does Baron. If Baron isn't even up, then you're just funneling more farm into the enemy team, which can help them catch up. Turrets get.
That's true, and that's not true. You are giving them more gold, but if you could get that inhibit down to drag them to the inhibitor so you can do other stuff on the map that's just as good, I would not just say, hey, let's not get inhib. That just doesn't make sense. You'd want to close out the game. The games this season are way faster. Even Riot has said it. The snowball potential is just faster. Sometimes you might be able to end the game before 20 minutes anyway because of how the game is going. The odds of you actually breaking inhibitor before 20 is very, very slim. And you can easily get it at like 1950 or something like that and go ahead and still do the Baron. So I disagree with that. I've heard that before, and I don't like that because you're basically still giving them a chance to come back anyway. So I don't think it's worth it.
Get much tankier the more plates you take. Thankfully, Rift Herald does true damage and will always take 2 plates no matter what. Try and take at least 2 plates before using Rift Herald to make the best use of its true damage. On Kai'Sa, you can animation cancel your evolves. Hover your mouse over the spell to evolve it. Then press it and your recall button keybind at the exact same time. Now you can just cancel your recall and you'll have access to the evolved ability.
That's true.
This next ward is going to make your Baron takes infinitely easier. See this crack between the 2 stones in the pit? Hover the edge of the top stone and drag your mouse down to the other stone like so. Then move there. After, put your cursor on the blade of grass sticking out the most. Move it slowly towards the left until it isn't green and voila! It's a bit hard to see with Fog of War, so practice while you have vision in the practice.
That's true, but I wouldn't do that because if they have a ward here, they'll see you. If we're doing Baron, I just typically like to put the ward up here because there's usually no wards there, right? If there's a pink there and you do that, or you put it somewhere around here, they'll see it. Even if there's not a pink and it's a green, they'll see it. So what I like to do is I like to put it more over here so that that ward doesn't see me put this ward, but I can still see over the wall here. So that way that if we are trying to sneak the Baron with her or whatever, it's not going to be, nobody's going to notice it. And then also it does help you if you see somebody walk by and get ready to gank your top laner. So it's like a two for one special. Now, as far as like just warding it for vision, I would just walk around and put a ward there because this ward doesn't give you much information. If you put the ward right here, right at the edge there, it gives you a lot more. You see this up here and you also see down there. So I wouldn't do that one either.
This tool. It's really easy once you get the hang of it. As Elise, you don't want to miss a single point of damage when bursting someone. Unfortunately, her W is easily blocked if your main target is behind someone else. Something to know is that you can shoot your W anywhere, but if you Q to a target, the spider will fly towards it. But again, it gets blocked on the way there, so you take that a step further. You should send your spider to a side where it won't be blocked, and then you can fully burst your opponent.
Pretty cool.
Players tend to feel secure in Dragon and Rift Herald when they've taken the Scuttle Crab, but it doesn't actually give that much vision. Use a movement ability over the wall to completely avoid any suspicion from your opponent.
Duh? What the? Okay, come on. Y'all knew that. Don't even right now. Y'all better have known.
Tired of dying in this brush defending your jungle from an invade? The problem is that standing in this brush gives you no time to react.
If you stand right here, look right there at the edge, and you see them coming, because you'll see the vision, you could just walk out and then place a ward behind you, and usually that scares them away. You definitely can get away. You're not going to die unless you're standing point blank in the front for some reason or another. But if you stand back here and then loop the corner, they won't really be able to, you know, land a skill shot or anything because you're in the fog and it's not a straight line. You know, you're kind of curving it, so they have to like slant their shot. Whereas if you're running upwards, they could just fire it straight. So
if your enemies hug the wall,
let's see what he says.
Instead, stand outside of it in the river. This way, you get plenty of time to react when you see an invade coming.
You'll get flashed on.
The person who reveals an enemy ward should not last hit it. Your team gets double gold if you let someone else kill it, since it'll give both players credit.
True.
We're finally at tip 50, and it's incredibly useful for a few of the champions in the game. There's champs like Lulu, Tahm Kench, and Zilean who have abilities that can target both enemy champions and friendly players. But when they're stacked, you can sometimes misclick the wrong person. Instead, use the frames to make sure you always click the correct target so you never get flamed again for letting someone die.
I only use that on Shin, and I only use that when I'm not looking around. It is a useful tip, but once again, it's not really practical. You could just get better at mouse accuracy. I mean, if you really do need that help, you know, like I said, use it. It's cool. But that's making you have to move your mouse away from the situation to get the click on the portrait and then move it back. That's a lot of time wasted where you're just not using your abilities or your champions, and you could just lose your mouse within that fight too. I know a lot of people do lose their mouses when they're fighting, so I wouldn't do that. All right, so we're at the end of the video, the conclusion here. What is my conclusion? I honestly think that some of these are helpful. You know, some of them are helpful. There's 50. I'll say about maybe 5 are helpful. Now, the rest of them, there's like a handful. Look, okay, there's 5 that's helpful. And then there's like a rest. There's like half of the rest of them. Oh, I can't even speak. There's a handful that are just like things that is like, oh, okay, that you're never gonna use, and the other handful is like, oh, okay, things that you just have no reason to use. You know what I mean? So if I had to rate this as a clickbait, I would say it's probably A plus being it's not clickbait at all. F being it's terribly a clickbait. I'm gonna say D plus, because there are some helpful things in there, but you honestly, if I was a player trying to learn, this would just make no sense to me, and I would forget every single thing he said, because none of it really matters. That's how bad the information in there is, so to speak. You know, not like it's everything that they said is bad, but like it's not practical. And so therefore, what's the point? You know? So you would just kind of find better ways to get better, maybe just watching other videos on their channel or other videos from other channels and stuff like that, because this one is definitely not really worth the time. And you always want to just be wary of people that make things like 50 things to know or 10, you know, just stuff that is like easily copied and paste, you know? Like I made a video that's fundamentals, like the 4 fundamentals to get better at your to kind of be able to look at your replay and really understand and learn from it, right? A, that's 4 things, but B, that's not like 4 top things to know to get this rank. You know, it's just, I have 4 fundamentals if you want to look at your odds. So this is kind of the same thing, but this one is kind of enticing you to click on it. Top or 50 things only smart people know. You watch it, you waste 11 minutes of your time, and it's like, well, I didn't really learn much, but I guess it was interesting, you know. So if that was what your goal was when you watched this, was I just want it to be interesting, then by all means, it's a very well done video in terms of giving you that interest, because it's some cool facts. But if you're watching this to learn, it's not gonna help you, sadly. So depending on what your goal is when you watch these, I know the person that sent it to me, they wanted to learn from it, and so it kind of sucks that they wasted all that time for them not to really learn much and couldn't really apply any of it, because they're never really gonna work in a real game. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. If you guys have any other videos you want me to do it as a clickbait on, leave them in the comments below, or just send them to my Discord and DM me, and I will go ahead and make that a video. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Until next time, you know what I always say, make sure you buy from my site if you do want coaching, nowhere else, just from my site, coachblakert.com. I give bar reviews there, as well as just coaching in general. I also coach teams and duos, so if that's something you're interested in, maybe like a little present for a duo, that's where you want to go. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, thank you for approaching this like a coach.